Amazon confirms that police can keep Ring doorbell videos forever. Keller Williams has 29 companies competing in a tech battle, and people are going bananas over the Peloton commercial. Tune in to Toole Time right now. Welcome back to Toole Time. I'm Tom Toole. She is Jess Lion, and we got some juicy topics this week. Interesting stuff that has a local and a national appeal, which I'm pretty excited about. So let's jump into the first one, which is Amazon confirms that police can keep Ring doorbell videos forever. So if you don't know what a Ring doorbell is, it's a doorbell with a camera that goes right on front of your home. And there's 600 police forces throughout the U.S. that have formed partnerships with the company, and the technology can be critical in tackling crimes, obviously. And now there's some reports that came out, thanks to Senator Ed Markey, who they wrote to Amazon, who owns Ring, and police can keep those videos forever. So what do you think about all this, Jess?
Well, at first, my first reaction is, honestly, have it forever. What do I have to hide? But then I think about documentaries I've watched where evidence that police have had in the past, they had manipulated, and obviously not all the time, but there are some cases, and it puts innocent people in a really bad spot. So I can understand in the article there's a point being made, like you're a parent, you're walking your child to school every day, or you do something you do so routinely, and you're on this footage, and you don't know who has it. You don't know what they're going to do with it. So I can understand from that point of view. What I would say is the footage that is given to police, like maybe a crime did occur, they can keep that forever, not other footage.
This is life in 2019. You have to assume you're on camera all the time, no matter what.
Candid camera.
Well, we had something we talked about a couple weeks ago on the show that, like, people are listening into realtor showings and saying, oh, this person said they're interested, or they said this. And you walk down the street in the middle of a city, there's cameras all over the place. I mean, that's just how it is. So I don't see this being any different. In fact, I would be surprised if people don't have this as a staple in their home in the next couple years. Well, I mean, this is the way things are going. So if police can keep the footage forever, that's fine. They've got laws they have to follow. I don't really see that as being a big deal. If you don't want to get caught doing something, then don't do it.
Don't do it.
And I mean, this is, you're always on camera, and this affects real estate as much as anything else, where we've had instances where a buyer says something in a showing, and the feedback comes back and it's totally different. And then we know a little more, or we can leverage that for negotiations. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff that can happen here. So if you're worried about what you're doing on camera, then be aware of your surroundings a little more. I mean, that's life in 2019, soon to be 2020, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I just hear what they're saying about you do something so routinely, you're on camera. People can kind of start to see your patterns and what you're doing and where you're going, which is kind of scary.
True, and I think, the question here is, how can people view this? I mean, what's the, just because police have it, are there laws that say who can view this, who can't? Do they need a warrant? I mean, because that's really where the question comes in. So Amazon's Vice President of Public Policy, Brian Huseman, noted that the company placed few restrictions on how police use or share the videos, and he clarified that homeowners are not obligated to share the footage with authorities, and Ring does not identify the users that refuse police requests for the video. So they actually have to get the consent of the homeowner, whoever has the video. So it's no different than any footage. I don't know if it's out in like a public space, like it's on a, down by City Hall in Philadelphia, right? Like there's cameras all over the place down there. That's a totally different scenario than this. So it's really going to be up to the homeowners what they want to do with it. I mean,
I think scarier or a little bit more unsettling than the police having the footage is the homeowner having the footage, because, like, say, we're not talking about like a crime that was committed for the homeowner, but they have footage of everybody walking by their house all day long. Like, what are they going to do with that? I've seen footage.
So what have you seen? I mean, like, what's
going
on? Are people just walking down the street?
Yeah, you can see who passes your house every day, who looks at your house every day, who comes up to your door. It's pretty creepy.
So, well, it's pretty creepy, but also, I mean, a couple weeks ago, there was someone in like Haverford and Upper Darby and Lower Merion going around and soliciting kids at bus stops. So, I mean, seeing that sort of thing happen,
Helpful.
you can identify that. So, for the creep factor, whatever you want to call it, there's also a lot of good that can be done here too. I mean, this was a big news story that was happening. So, I'd rather be safe and actually know where you can. Like, I mean, let's say there's someone kidnaps your kid, right? You have something to go on.
You wouldn't have that.
You're not going to have that
years
otherwise.
ago.
So, you know, there's going to be good with bad, and it's all about adaptation right now. And people aren't going to stop having Ring doorbells. People are probably going to have more of them. So
I want one.
there you go. So as creeped out as you were,
I want
you
one.
still want the doorbell.
I do.
So something that you need to be used to being on camera all the time. Doesn't mean you have to do anything like we're doing here. It's just that's the way things are going right now. There's videos of everything. So, I mean, even you look at like fights in stadiums and all that. So those videos always come out every time. I mean, and then all of a sudden, police are using those to criminally charge people. I mean, it helps find the perp.
Yeah, I think it's really helpful. Maybe a little not used to seeing yourself, but
What's that? What's the difference between that and social media and that other stuff? I mean, it's just because it's curated.
I guess so. You have control. Control's the key.
Well, again, and these people just can't release all this stuff, and it's only going to police. It's not like they can just post it online and do anything else like that. So there's gonna be more of this happening. I mean, there's a lot of people now that have security systems. You can pull up like a video on your phone of what's going on at your house. I mean, it's pretty wild. So this is just gonna be the norm. I don't see this changing too much. And from an agent perspective, when you're showing a house or you're interviewing for a sale, you need to assume you are on camera right now.
Always
if you're not
ready.
You're way past it here. So sounds like we kind of agree. I don't know if there was a really debate on that one, but interesting topic. So the second story we're going to talk about is Keller Williams has 29 real estate tech companies, at an invitation-only tech pitch battle called Future RE. Well, that's actually just Future, and then it's RE capital at the end, because that's what realtors do. And Keller Williams is organizing this, and the startups are vying to gain placement on the Keller Cloud, the company's real estate cloud for agent tools. And it's pretty interesting. I mean, they've already partnered with companies like Dotloop, DocuSign, Market Leader, which are signature programs, CRMs. We all know about Kelly, their AI, although they do have AI predictive analysis is one of the companies here, which I find interesting. And then the winners are going to be chosen by 450 real estate leaders, as well as Keller Williams agents watching the event on a live stream, and that's happening the beginning of this week, the 9th and the 10th. So we'll know the winners and kind of what happens after that. What do you think about all this, Jess?
I think that Keller Williams is actually just like they're doing something. A lot of these brokerages aren't. And we've talked about it in past weeks where you have to be innovative and you have to be evolving, providing value to your customers, providing value to your agents. And I think that's what they're doing. And I think I've heard, I don't have experience, but that Keller Williams has a pretty good training for their agents that start. I think that this is just providing them with other tools to help them be a better agent. It's really cool. All of the companies, they sound really interesting. Not really sure what they are, but if I was a newer agent, this would be attractive to me because you don't know where you're starting. You don't know what to do. So having this on the cloud, the Keller Cloud, I hope that's easier to use than the iCloud because that confuses me. But I'd be interested if I were a new agent.
So the different tech startups they have broken down. One is Agent Operations, and that has Follow Up Boss, Clarity Office Anywhere, and Virtue Desk. Follow Up Boss is a CRM that is more limited than Boomtown right now. So Boomtown just as a point of reference here. And I find this interesting because they're supposed to have this AI-enabled CRM, but they have Follow Up Boss, which is one of the simpler ones, as one of the companies that they're going to have access to.
Maybe they won't make it.
Maybe they won't, maybe they will. They have AI, predictive analytics, and automated value, and they use the iBuyer app, Likely Sellers Estimate On, automation and time management, community sphere of influence, education and learning, end-to-end consumer experience, lead gen, and the lead gen companies were Sly Dial, and Sly Broadcast, and Taradell. property management, search, which is they have Real Scout in there, which is to identify people that are selling, and then they have social media and video, and they have Ilopo Dynamic Video Ads as one of the companies there. To be clear, I haven't heard a lot of these. What I find interesting, and it brings me back to something I shared before, is I was at the T3 Summit in the spring, and Gary Keller got up on stage and said, hey, the best companies don't buy stuff, they build it. Well, this looks like
Buying.
I don't know if they're buying, but they're partnering, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, is it going to make things better for them? Absolutely. The problem is the statement that he made is that they have these other companies coming in, and Follow Up Boss is, I know a lot of people that use it. I'm surprised to see that one on here out of all of them.
So it's not the best of the best.
I don't know if it's the best of the best. The best one is the one you use properly. And there's a lot of people that swear by Follow Up Boss. We use something different here. We use Boomtown. I'm clear that's probably the best one out there for what we need and what's available. And with the commitment they have to integrations too, because they have they integrate with a lot of different services. They integrate with Zillow. They integrate with .loop. So you can. I mean, it's not
awesome.
It's not anything different than what's already out there. This just happens to be specific to Keller Williams. What they're doing here is they are making a spectacle of what they're going to be integrating with to make it sound better.
I think it's all a show.
I don't think it's a
Reeling
show.
people in.
They're going to give $15,000 to the first place winner and $5,000 to second place.
I know. I saw that and I was like,
Maybe one of their agents can just go sell another house, and then there's your commission.
the prizes need to be bumped up a bit.
So and that's pretty typical. I mean, it's the revenue they can make.
Yeah.
That's what the winner's going to get out of this is the partnership. So what they're doing is they're getting in the news about it. I love the marketing play here. You mentioned something about their training and coaching. I mean, I don't know that the training they give is that different or even that great compared to what other people are doing in terms of the brokerage community because their agents aren't selling that much real estate anyway. I mean, they have a lot of agents. They say they're the biggest company, but their per agent productivity is lower than some of the other companies that are out there.
Maybe this will help.
We'll see. I like what they're doing here. This is smart. It's I mean,
I feel like they're always trying to do something.
Well, Gary Keller has been very clear that he wants to get into like they want to go tech, and he talks about Kelly and big data and all this stuff. And seeing this makes sense because it's going to make it better. I'm just surprised some of the companies that are on there. But then again, there's billions of dollars getting invested in real estate tech just this year alone. So this is another example of the partnership because the partnership is going to be worth more than the actual prize. That's not much for these companies. That's like they'll burn through that cash pretty quickly.
That'll be awesome for the winners.
Hopefully it works out for those companies.
Yeah.
I mean, the tech startup world is tough. It's the Wild West out there. So I hope the people they select are that actually have a good product. That's for sure. But to your point, they are innovating here. I mean, you don't see some of these other companies doing this stuff right now. I mean, like Remax or Realogy or Berkshire Hathaway or Home Services, which is the parent company for Berkshire Hathaway. I don't see any of that happening with them. Compass bought Contactually. Mm-hmm. Contactually and Follow Up Boss, are like similar. So we're just seeing more and more investment in tech. That's all that's really happening here. I mean, I think this is kind of standard in some ways is what's happening in 2019 and 2020.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like, this might not be the right move now, but I feel like they're doing something that other people aren't, and they will get there eventually, and maybe they'll be big in the tech world.
Well, what I know is that whatever you're going to invest in tech from like an agent perspective, it's got to work for you, and you've got to be committed to it, and you've got to actually use it. Because if you don't use it, then if these people don't use it,
then
it's not going to mean anything.
Yeah.
And that's the just like when they had that new CRM that dropped, if people aren't using it, it doesn't matter. So utilizing the tech is going to be the most important thing here, no matter who the winner is. I'll be interested to see how this plays out. It's pretty interesting.
Me too.
So we got a third story this week, a bonus one.
Bonus story. Oh, this is good.
So
you've heard about it. Hopefully.
Well, you've had to be living under a rock if you hadn't. That the Peloton ad that came out, and not the one where they have like the lights flowing and it's Christmas time. It's the one where the husband buys his wife a Peloton bike, and she chronicles everything, and they watch the video a year later, is under massive fire right now.
Up in arms about it.
Well, explain a little more. I know I'm obviously aware of this.
Yeah, I was so excited to hear about this story because we put the article in the Slack channel. We were like, ooh, we should talk about this. And I was like, I read the headline, and it was like, everybody's up in arms about this. I was like, oh my gosh, they must have done something wrong. And I was really intrigued because I know you love Peloton. I was like, what could they possibly have done wrong? So I watched this commercial, and in the commercial, This woman is gifted a bike from her husband. She rides it for a year, and she does it, like you said, a video at the end saying, "Thank you, I didn't know how it would change my life." And I was like, what is so wrong with this commercial? That's my first reaction. And if you read through Twitter, people are very upset saying that it's sexist, or one of the tweets was like something along the lines of like, nothing says Merry Christmas better than giving your rail-thin wife a Peloton for Christmas, something like that. And I feel like everybody wants to pick a fight about nothing. There is nothing here that says to me, this is sexist, this is classist, this is anything like that. If I got a Peloton for Christmas, I'd be on it. I'd be thrilled.
When did it become socially unacceptable to be happy, fit, and successful? Like
Yeah.
Could
you imagine if they gifted, like in the video, in the commercial, like someone was like out of shape? Like I think everybody was up in arms because she was like very thin and fit. If it was the other way around, I think people would have been a lot more pissed off.
So, I mean, but again, my point here is that, yeah, I mean, there's much more that happens from working out than just getting into shape,
Yeah.
right? Like there's a confidence level that you have. There is a just physically feeling better. I mean, people can be thin and not be in shape. So, I mean, you could be the same way, but be like flabby, like eat like crap.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's a lot
Not
of things.
feel great.
I mean, you feel horrible every day. So there's a lot of things that can happen from that alone. And then additionally, like the big story was the stock price dropped like pretty substantially. What was the number on that?
Oh yeah, 942 million.
Well, I mean, then stock's almost back to where it was. So the stock price dropped last week. Today it's up to $34.36. It peaked at $36.84 per share. From the IPO, it IPO'd at $25.76. So it's been going up. And I mean, you know, the thing about the ad is like, there's always that story. You don't buy like your wife appliances or
A vacuum.
or
A blender.
A friend of mine bought his wife a scale about 20 years ago. Like, I mean, I think that's way worse than this. And you know the guy. I'm not going to tell you who it is. And you're probably watching too. So the point
As long
is,
as it was a smart scale.
20 years ago, I don't think they had smart scales.
Oh, 20 years ago.
The point is that, you know, people love to complain about anything.
Yeah.
And what I would say to the people watching, if they're watching this from Peloton, is that when you get people complaining about you like this, that means you're
this is
doing
good
something right.
press.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not only good press, but it also shows that there's people that are committed to their health, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, just because, you know, there's so much more that comes out of it than just the physical appearance side, and that's what a lot of people don't get. And
I think it showed in the commercial that it was more than physical appearance.
I
She
noticed
was
her
waking
confidence
up
level.
early.
I noticed the routine.
Confidence. She had a routine in the morning. I thought it was much more than just I'm getting fit. It was a mental game too. I don't think there was anything wrong with this. I like all the commercials that are coming from it. Like Ryan Reynolds made a gin commercial where the actress in the main actress in the Peloton commercial
Yeah, she was in the
it.
commercial, right?
Oh, it was so funny. I feel bad for the guy who's in the commercial. Apparently, there was an article saying that, you know, he's been losing business because of it, and I mean that really sucks. But I didn't see anything wrong with this.
There's a way to capitalize on this. Is not the first controversial commercial to come out. It's not the last. It's just another one of those that people are going to be talking about, and that's really all there is to it. So
I'm
not
getting
a
a
whole lot.
Peloton. No, I'm just
Okay.
kidding.
So, the quote for the week. We're going a little different direction here. So we don't have any motivation this week. It comes from a very unmotivating person, the broke agent, who was on, and Jess doesn't even know what I'm talking about here. So
I'm nervous.
our friends Byron Lazine and Nicole White, they had their 100th show on The Real Word, which
I
is
watched
on Inman.
some of it. It was really awesome.
Well, you obviously didn't watch this part because it was like the first thing. If you didn't watch episode
I watched
100.
the one where they were like the Racket Byron, Racket Nicole.
So they
Racket
had the questions that came in. This was like the first thing. And the first question was from the broke agent. He asked two things. One, how often does Tom Ferry think about him? Which I would say
Think
is
about Byron?
No, think about the broke agent wanted to know how many times Tom Ferry thinks about him. And the second was who would win in a cage fight, him or four of me? So
The broke
the
agent?
broke agent said, so four of me versus one of him in a cage match. And that's the quote for the week. So what I'll say to the broke agent, one is, I can see why you're broke because your follow-through sucks. Since we were supposed to get these books from you months ago, and I don't have anything here.
I was waiting for them.
So that's one. And you're trying to sell the book. We would have pumped you up, whatever. So that's number one. So I can see why you're broke. And then secondly, what I will say is that if you want to have some sort of cage match, I'm happy to have whatever you want to do. Maybe a role play battle, maybe some sort of real estate skills thing where you can do it on video and have like a charity tie-in. It's going to have to be something that you can do for free since you're broke. So I'm game for whatever. Byron suggested the role play battle, so I'm all for that. And I'm going to destroy you if that's what you decide to do. So mainly because I do it every day and you're sitting around filming videos. So
posting memes, being funny.
I mean, it's good stuff. High quality content. If you're not following The Broke Agent in all seriousness, you should, because the real estate industry is full of the stuff he's talking about all the time.
Really is. He's hilarious.
And it's crazy accurate. Crazy accurate. Like people writing descriptions in all caps, or the open house sign wars, or all that other stuff.
There was one that I saw today, and it was like, if you're an agent and you have your red receipts on, you're a psycho. Something like that.
Well, I think that's anybody. So, Broke Agent, I'm down. Let's figure something out.
Sounds like a challenge. Oh, I like this.
So that's the quote for the week was his horrible question. And I hate to break it to you, I think the only time Tom Ferry actually thinks about you is when someone brings you up. So
burn. Oh, my God. Let's see what the rebuttal is.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Maybe he'll have to wake up first, so that'll be...
No, he's probably still asleep.
I would say the response time is going to be between 3 and 5 p.m. his time once he gets up from whatever he was doing the night before.
Okay. Bring it.
Thanks for watching this week.